Good afternoon, everyone. My clock says noon, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for United Way of Greater Nashville's Tour Tuesday. My name is Jamie Roy, and I'm the Associate Director of Leadership Donor Engagement here at United Way. I have the distinct pleasure of presenting today's Tour Tuesday webinar. For those of you who don't know, Tour Tuesday is an opportunity for folks to get an inside look at the incredible work that's happening here at United Way, within our partner agencies, and all throughout our community. For fellow nonprofit staff, this is an informative way to learn about what other service providers are doing, what programs they offer, and how they might be beneficial to your own clients. For those of you looking to get involved, this is an awesome way to learn about some great agencies that you might be able to volunteer with. And for our United Way donors, thank you all so much. This is a fantastic opportunity to hear how your dollars are being put to work in our community. So each tour features agencies and programs from across Greater Nashville and our 9 counties, our service area, as we come together to discuss current community conditions. Because today's tour falls in March, which is Women's History Month, we have representatives from 2 of our nonprofit partners that support women and children in our community. We have the great privilege of being joined by representatives from 2 United Way partners, Renewal House and Begin Anew. At the end of today's session, attendees will have the opportunity to ask questions of our panelists in the Q&A box. So please hold on to those great questions until the end. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our panelists. First, we have Savak Millis, the Director of Programs from Renewal House. And then we also have Rebecca Woods, the Program Manager for Begin Anew. So let's get started with Tour Tuesday. Savak and Rebecca, I'd like you both to share about the services that your agencies provide, your service area, the impact you have on our community, and the outcomes that you seek. I'll give you each about 15 minutes. Savak, you can start us off. I will stop my share.
Better?
You need to, there we go. Yeah.
Most welcome. Okay. I thought I got it right the second time. Okay, wonderful. So again, my name is Savak Millis. I am the Director of Programs here at Renewal House. And if you are not familiar with Renewal House, we are a nonprofit here actually in Nashville, Tennessee. So we're in North Nashville in the Bordeaux area. We were founded in 1996. So we've been in operation for about 27 years now. So serving the same population and really focused on the same outcomes. So we are gender specific treatment for women experiencing substance use disorders. And we are the actually only long-term comprehensive treatment program here in Middle Tennessee where a woman can enter into treatment with her child or children or enter pregnant and continue to stay after her child is born. If you are familiar with other treatment programs that provide treatment for substance use disorder or addiction treatments, usually they are in individual programs, being one individual and not allowing any minors to come into a Renewal House. So it is really something that makes us really unique and really special and really encompasses the whole way that we approach substance use treatment. And then something incredibly special about Renewal House is that all our services are actually provided free to our families. So we don't exchange money in any way with any of our clients. We are funded through state and local grants, as well as of course private donations, foundations, and that sort of thing. But we don't exchange any type of funds with our clients. So who do we serve? What does the population of Renewal House look like? And so we are serving, again, women who are pregnant and or have physical custody of 1 to 2 children under the age of 10. And then all of those women have a substance use disorder or a co-occurring mental health diagnosis. And so we find that usually most of our women have a substance use disorder, which is required, but most of them also have a mental health diagnosis. And that could be anything from experiencing anxiety to experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, bipolar disorder, really lots of things that we know that co-occur or happen alongside someone who is also experiencing the use of substances. So where do our ladies come from? That's a question we get a lot. And so the background for many of our women has some domestic violence involved. It has trauma, whether it's from an adult, as a child, unfortunately, whether it is as a result of their substance use. We know when individuals are using substances, they often place themselves in risky situations where they do experience traumatic events. Many of them do have a current or past history with the legal system, as well as current or past DCS involvement. Now, I'll pause here for a moment because we do work a lot with the DCS. And so, as you can imagine, any family member that's experiencing substance use where children are involved, DCS is often involved, or they've come to the attention of the Department of Children's Services at some point. And so what we do is we really try to come alongside DCS, whether that be in Davidson County or another county out of Tennessee that our ladies may be coming from, and really see how we can partner with them to increase the stability of this family so that we don't increase the burden on foster care. We don't experience additional ACEs for these families, which are adverse childhood experiences that we know oftentimes lead to these children growing up and unfortunately using substances as adults. Of course, all our ladies often come from unstable backgrounds. They usually have very limited income source and just not a lot of family support. Now, I say this, and you may picture this person that I've now described, and you may think, I could spot that person in the crowd, right? And you can't. You just can't. These are ladies that may be behind you in line at Target or Kroger. So one of the things that we really like to put out in the community is that substance use disorder, the disease of addiction, really impacts us all and really impacts so many people that we know that we aren't even aware of that struggle with this. So what do we do here at Renewal House? We have these ladies, we have these kiddos. What in the world do we do with them? So there are several programs that Renewal House offers, our flagship program being the family residential or the family treatment program. What that is a long-term comprehensive treatment program that's individualized to meet the need of each family. And we see that as important as, I may have certain barriers that I'm overcoming in my life that prevent me from being in recovery or living a sober lifestyle. But Miss Rebecca here, she may have very different things that are obstacles in her life that are preventing that. So we really go the extra mile to individualize all the plans that we have for our clients. We are incredibly fortunate. If you've been to us or you've driven down Clarksville Pike in North Nashville, you've seen that we have built this amazing new building, and I have some pictures of it in a little bit later. But we've recently been able to increase our capacity for this inpatient side of our program from 17 families to 34. Which is really amazing, and we're really excited because we see the need in our community. In this program, our families are engaging in therapeutic activities with staff, whether that be through, group activities or individual sessions, therapy sessions, parenting sessions, all individualized, again, to assist them in their recovery, but also in increasing their ability to live independently and parent their children, of course. And then all of our programming is evidence-based and gender-specific. So it is all based around what is it like to be a female? What is it like to be a female that's also parenting, that's also trying to go through this really challenging journey of recovery? So that's one program. And then we are also a licensed IOP program through the state of Tennessee. And so that's where ladies can come from the community, and they come to Renewal House campus 3 days a week, and they are attending those therapeutic groups. They're gaining the skills that they need to be able to take their substance use disorder and really hopefully put that behind them. And then, of course, they're getting case management in addition to those groups every week. And then our third program is recovery housing. So we operate 8 units of recovery housing that is predominantly for the ladies who graduate our program. However, we do have an open community waiting list. So if there isn't someone in our program ready to move into one of those apartments, we do operate a wait list for women in the community that are in recovery. So we're really excited. When we moved into our new building, we moved out of a building that was so well loved, and we have just done lots and lots of repairs thanks to a grant that we received. And we're hoping very, very soon, within the next couple of months, we will be able to open an additional 21 recovery housing units. And when I say recovery housing, this is all apartments, like it is single apartment living. None of our units here, whether it's recovery housing or in our family treatment program, is shared living. Every family receives their own full apartment. That means full kitchen, bathroom, the works, just like me or you would rent out in the community. And of course, all of these are affordable housing rental properties. So we know that's a really challenging commodity here in Tennessee. And so we're really hoping that we can assist in that. See, it doesn't want to go to the next slide. There we go. So our outcomes. In 27 years, we have served about 8,300 women and children in all of Renewal House's programming. So as a small agency, we're making a really big impact. And that's always exciting to see when I see these numbers. We'll also look for 2022. So just a couple of our outcomes that we look at, and 97% of our moms increased or maintained child custody at program exit. Which is really amazing, right? These are mamas that are below the poverty line, currently using substances, and being really challenged in life, mostly very unstably housed. And we're helping them keep their kiddos, right? We're helping them prevent ACEs. And so this is a really exciting outcome for us. 84% of them obtained stable housing at program discharge, which again is a pretty big feat considering the price of housing in Davidson County. 74% of clients obtained at least 30 days of sobriety. And so we pull this outcome because there's a lot of scientific evidence based around the 30-day marker, and that being a good track for continued sobriety. And then 47% completed our family treatment program. And that maybe to the average person doesn't sound like, oh, it's only 47. That's well above the national average. And this is not a 30-day program, right? This is a 6 to 12 month program. So the national average is closer to like 42%, but that's for 30 days. This is much, much longer. So pretty excited about that. And I'll quickly tell you, why in the world do we do this, right? Why is this important? So these are just a couple of statistics that kind of help bring this like full picture into view. So SAMHSA actually released this first statistic in January 2023 that only about 94% of people 12 and over in the United States with a substance use disorder do not receive treatment. 94%, right? Like that's amazing and sad. And so we know this service is incredibly needed. Then in 2021, and this is for the state of Tennessee, 1,250 women died of a drug overdose here in Tennessee. That's about 3.5 women a day. And that's women. That does not include men. We try to only think of women here. That's a lot, right? It is a lot of women. And then you look over here, because when we think of a substance user, and we think of a female substance user, We don't often think of a female pregnant substance user, right? Because that's just not the mental image we get. But we also see here in Tennessee that 36% of all pregnancy-associated deaths in the state were related to substance use. So these are 100% preventable deaths. These are babies that are going to go forward and not have a mama because of a substance use disorder. And that's the gap Renewal House can stand in and does stand in. And then why that custody statistic of ours of 97% is so amazing is this last statistic, is that in 2022, 1,808 children entered the state of Tennessee's custody. That's a lot of children, right? And so how can we impact those numbers? And so that's what Renewal House is really trying to do. And here is a testimonial. Please let me know if you can hear it from one of our clients.
There was something missing. I wanted to fill a void. And that first pill kind of just gave me that feeling that I'd been looking for. I was using since I was 15. The time where I seeked help, it was just mainly meth, but I started smoking pot, then led to pain pills and cocaine and weed and, whatever I could get my hands on. I didn't care at that time. I was just doing what I wanted to do. When I was 22, I entered a treatment program, and it was not for me. They didn't teach you how to deal with your issues. It was just a place to stay clean. It wasn't a place to discover what triggers you or who you are. It was just stay clean. I stayed sober for a little while. I ended up meeting my son's father there, and I thought that it was it for me. Like, I thought I was on the right path. And so I ended up getting pregnant, and I was still sober, but then the abuse started. And from that point, I think I started using again when he was 6 months old, but it wasn't heavily. It was just enough to make me not feel. I was at a point where I was in an abusive relationship, sitting in a motel room. We had lost everything, and my son was just sitting there in front of the TV, and his dad had just finished going in on me, and he had left. And of course, the first thing I do is I use, but I just sat there, and I knew if I let it continue, and if I didn't get out now, not later, now, that I wasn't gonna make it out alive. I chose Renewal House because I would be able to take my son with me, and he could get help, I could get help, and there was just a chance for a fresh start. Went straight into quarantine for 5 days. No phone, no TV, just me and my child. And that can be a scary thought. I mean, there's nothing to entertain him except for me. But to be honest with you, it was one of the most rewarding experiences. We bonded in a way that we hadn't in years. We played games. We made crafts. It was fun. I didn't think I was in a recovery program. I mean, I just felt like we were in our first apartment, just me and him. It felt good. And it felt like, wow, I get to really be a mom this time. For the first time in my life, I was actually able to be myself and feel what I was feeling and be told that it was okay. You begin to figure out who you are and where your strengths lie. And, there's a career coach and they help you with, resumes and, what you were thinking about wanting to do. And that's just on one side. On the other side, you've got counseling, you get groups, you get 12-step meetings, arts, all different kinds of classes. And that's just for the women. For the children, there's classes, there's music classes, there's art classes, there's play therapy. Everybody's an individual. Everybody has a different path, and they work according to that. My son benefited from it all. I think it is so important to donate to Renewal House, because if they didn't, then there wouldn't be this place. There would not be a safe place for people to go with their children. That is so important, because it's just a daily reminder of why you're fighting. And if that place wasn't there, I don't know where I would be today. I know that coming to Renewal House was the best decision. They gave me the tools to get sober. I got sober, but they helped me along the way. Not just to help me, they loved me along the way. And that was a big thing. They taught me that I was allowed to feel, and that it was okay to not be okay. I didn't have to be okay all the time. I didn't have to, put on a face. I could feel whatever I needed to. I discovered myself for the first time in my life. Not just that, but I discovered what an amazing mom that I am. Today, I am 14 months sober. I know now that from everything I was given, I know I have a lot to give back. I know in the future what I want to do is I want to get my drug and alcohol counseling license, because I know I have a lot to offer. I don't think there is words to put in place for the gratitude that I have for Renewal House. They just not only gave me a safe place, but they gave me a life. I truly can say that I love that place and I love those people. I feel blessed to be here sharing my story with you today. If it wasn't for Renewal House, I would not be here. I would have never left that hotel room.
So that is just one of our clients who, shared her story, and she's way more than 14 months sober now. That was probably a little more than a year ago. So she is doing really fantastic. And now, since we're on a virtual tour and you don't get to actually see our amazing facility, I wanted to share a few pictures. So this is our brand new building that we just moved into in June. New, again, 3 floors. We have 34 1 and 2 bedroom apartments in this building, and that is where all of our family treatment program residents live, like Kristen that you just saw. And this is what the inside of an apartment looks like. When we say it's a real apartment, it's a real apartment. People think maybe it's a studio. No, it's the whole thing: the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom. And it is fully furnished when all of our clients arrive. So they just bring their clothes. If they have clothes, if they don't have clothes, we figure it out. And so I can just kind of leave you with this. Renewal House is special because we treat them both. And I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really powerful. I loved hearing Kristen's story. Rebecca, you're up next. I'm so excited to hear about Begin Anew.
Yes, as said before, my name is Rebecca Wood. I am one of the program managers at Begin Anew Nashville. Let me get my screen shared as well, and should be good to go. Okay, can y'all see that? Okay, perfect. All right, so Begin Anew empowers individuals to overcome obstacles caused by poverty by providing education, mentoring, and resources. Education is the bulk of what we specialize in. So like I said before, I manage the downtown Nashville campus, but we also have 3 other campuses across the Nashville area. So we have one in Franklin, Madison, and then Woodbine, which is just in the South Nashville area. And we offer 3 different tracks that are cost-free to all of our students. So we don't charge anything for the services we provide, but we offer high school equivalency preparation. So if you're familiar with the GED, Tennessee has now shifted to the HiSET test. And so that consists of 5 separate tests, as the GED was just one big test. It's now 5 separate tests in different subject areas that students are able to study for and pass at their own pace and take those 5 different ones at separate times. So we offer tutoring and preparation for that, as well as English language learning. So that is a huge chunk of a lot of our campuses. We have served 34 countries in the past year. So, and a lot of those that are coming over from other countries, they have the education and they have the resources in their own home country. And then they come here and they don't know the language. And so they're kind of lost, and they, aren't able to get education if they can't speak the language, or get a job if they can't speak the language. So that is a huge part of what most of our campuses offer. And then we also offer computer and job skills preparations. So anyone who's preparing to go into the job force and just needs some extra help in just navigating what that looks like, we offer that as well. A lot of our high school equivalency graduates will then move to the computer and job skills course, just so they can get as much preparation as possible before they head into either college or the workforce or whatever their goals are. So for the downtown Nashville campus, which is the one that I personally manage, so we are women only. A lot of people ask why that is, what we have against men, but there's just never been a need for it. And that could change sometime in the future, but it's the only campus we have that's women only, and I personally love it. We've created a very tight-knit community there with the women attending, and it just makes it more comfortable for the women as well. They're able to kind of open up a little bit better and kind of share their struggles, and it's been a really sweet time of community there. And then we also offer only high school equivalency and computer and job skills. So we do not currently offer English language learning. Kind of the same thing with women, there just hasn't been a need for the program, but like I said, that could always change in the future. And then we also offer community groups and mentoring. So 1 hour a week, we come together and have a Bible study, and we have volunteers that will lead that. And then we also will pair students with a mentor. So most of our students that we serve, they don't have any kind of support system. And that makes it really hard for them to reach their goals if they don't have anyone behind them supporting them. So we're able to offer a mentor to pair them with that kind of just walks alongside them, does whatever is needed, whether that's help them take care of the kids, or just taking them out for lunch, or just being a phone call away if they need advice or resources. So that is the chunk of what we offer at our Nashville campus. Our programming from week to week, it looks like we meet 2 nights a week. So on Monday and Thursday evenings from 6 to 8. So on Mondays, that will look like 1 hour community groups and then 1 hour of class time. And then on Thursdays, it's the full 2 hours of class time. And our approach is very individualized. So we have an open enrollment all around. So students can come in and enroll whenever they want. And then it's basically on whatever pace that they need. So if they come in, sometimes they they study and they pass all those tests within a couple of months. Sometimes it's a couple of years. It just depends on the grade level that they're entering at and how consistent they are in studying in the program, but it's very individualized and catered to that specific student's need. So for the past year, 2022, we had 63 graduates across all 4 of our campuses. That was 24 of those were high school equivalency graduates, and so they were able to get their diploma and go on to higher education. And then 7 of those were English language learning students from level 3, 11 were ELL students from level 2, and then 18 of those were from level 1 ELL. And then we had 3 computer and job skills graduates. So 7 of those were from my campus at downtown Nashville. We had 4 of them as the high school equivalency graduates, and then 3 of them were computer and job skills graduates. And actually one of them was both. So she finished her high school equivalency and then stuck around for the computer and job skills course. And now she's enrolled in a higher job training program to get her CNA. So we're super excited for her. And then 4 of those are either enrolled in or they have already completed post-secondary education. So we've got 2 that were recently accepted into college and they are in their first semester. So one is in nursing and one's in business administration. And then one of them, like I said, is in a program to get her CNA, and then one has already completed her cosmetology license and she's working as a makeup artist. So lots of different goals that these students are coming in with, and it's our goal to help them get there. And I will say there's nothing sweeter than watching an adult student put on a cap and gown and walk across the stage, sometimes for the very first time in front of their kids, and they're able to set that example for them. And it's just a really sweet thing to witness. So, I am happy to answer any questions at the end. I will pass it back to Jamie.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's wonderful to hear about Begin Anew. We know that upskilling individuals and giving them that education and workforce development is one of the best ways to fight poverty in our entire community. So thank you both for the incredible work that your agencies are doing. I would love to hear from each of you what you're thinking for the future. What does the next year look like for each of your agencies, and what are you hoping to achieve? Whoever would like to go first.
I'll be happy to go. So in the next year, we are just incredibly excited about opening these additional 21 units of affordable housing because it is such a needed area of growth, not only for Nashville, but especially, in the North Nashville community. And then we're so excited just about our new building and moving into it and expanding and serving more clients. And I think this year it gets to be our year of celebration a little bit. We've worked very hard to get in this new building. We did a capital campaign, and we moved into our new building mortgage and debt free, which is really, really impressive. And so all that hard work deserves like a little bit of a celebration period. And I hope that's what we're going to do over the next year.
Well, congratulations. I know a capital campaign in this environment is not easy, so that is so well deserved. So congrats on that. Rebecca, what about you?
So our biggest thing for this year is we are launching a new campus. So we will be launching an online campus later this year. So we learned over COVID that there was a need for it and that it was possible. We just needed to get the details figured out and see how we could serve the community best in that way. So we're super excited for that. So we're currently hired for that position, and I'm getting all of those details figured out to launch later this year. And then the biggest thing is just recruiting students and needing to grow our population and get the word out. So right now I have 14 students enrolled in my campus downtown, and we have room for about 10 more. So definitely would love to get every spot filled. And then with that comes more volunteers needed. So our program is volunteer run basically, and I'm very thankful for that because these tutors are just amazing. They come in and donate their time, and they serve in math and reading, social studies, science, writing. And so once we grow our population, we also need to grow our volunteer population. So we're really excited about all of that. And we've had 65% of our students so far this year have made forward progress. So that looks like lots of different things. Sometimes it's getting their high set diploma, and sometimes it's just passing the next practice test. And for example, I have a student that just recently passed her first high set test in reading, and she had been in and out of the program for a year. So she's just had a lot of obstacles that she's had to overcome to reach these goals. But when she went in and finally passed that first test, she said, like, this is the confidence boost that I needed to verify that I'm on the right track and I can do this. I just have to stick with it. And so we're definitely celebrating those little wins.
Wonderful. Everyone on the call, spread the word. If you know people in your community who could use this type of education, or if you know folks who want to volunteer, send them to Begin Anew. My next question is, can you share any success stories? And both of you have really already done that, but do you have any more success stories that you'd like to share? We already heard the incredible story of
I
Chris.
can say a really fun one is that something people don't think about in treatment programs, but we had 14 babies born here at Renewal House last year. It's a lot of babies. So if you're ever looking to donate baby items, diapers, wipes, there are a lot of dirty diapers at Renewal House. But yeah, we have 14 babies born. And so that's always a really amazing thing because they were born into safe, nurturing environments, and they got to come home from the hospital with their mom. And had they not been here at Renewal House, that might not have been a possibility.
Wow, that is a huge success story. Thank you for sharing that. Rebecca, you got any more?
Yeah, I think the biggest ones is those students that we have enrolled in college right now. We have a couple more kind of going through the application process, but it's a big step for them they've come and they've gotten their high set diploma. And so that is, a check on their goal list. And so for them to be able to fill out scholarships and their FAFSA and actually get enrolled in college, it takes a lot of steps because sometimes after they're done with their diploma, they're like, okay, I've done the thing, I'm done. Like, I can't do anymore. But for them to continue to work hard and show their children that, hey, I got my high school equivalency diploma and now I am going to enroll in college. And then from that, I'm going to get a better job to provide for my family. It's just really sweet to see not only they've checked that one goal off their list, but they're not stopping. So that's super encouraging to see from our students.
That is, even when English is your first language and you have resources and a good social network, that paperwork is tough. That's a tough process. So thank you for serving those folks and helping them get to that next level. That's so important. Rebecca, you've already shared a little bit, but I'd love to hear more from each of you about what volunteer opportunities are available at your agencies.
So here at Renewal House, we have opportunities. We do a couple of days a year where we do like cleanup and landscaping, especially around this new building. So we have that. We also have opportunities to get together with your civic group or your community group or your church and do drives for the ladies here. So women have, gotten a church together and they've donated, cleaning supplies and they've used that as an opportunity to engage the community that way. And then if you have a specific skill set, we also engage members of the community and organizations in skills that we are not necessarily specialized in. So whether that's financial literacy or, the health department's here this week and they're talking about smoking cessation. So we love those kind of partnerships and those volunteer opportunities like that. So if you have a special skill set and you'd love to share it and you want to spend your time that way, please feel free to reach out to me.
Yes, I have already mentioned that we have a need for tutors, like I said, in those 5 subject areas, and that looks like just an hour or 2 a week, or just as an as needed basis. It can be pretty flexible on whatever availability you have. And we also, like I said, we have community groups, and so we have Bible study leaders that lead those, and so that's an opportunity as well. That's just an hour a week or 2 hours a month, depending on what rotation you can get on. And then mentors, that's one of our biggest ones, because not every student in our program right now is paired with a mentor, and that is definitely our goal. And so that, like I said, that looks like either coming to the campus and meeting with them while they're in class and making that face-to-face connection, and then following up once a week, just a phone call. Hey, what do you need this week? How can I be encouraging you? Or taking them out to lunch, or sending them birthday gifts, and just showing them that there is someone that has their back while they're on this journey. And then also children's programming. So we want to take away every obstacle that students would have to come attend classes. So we do offer children's programming for infants through 5th grade. So we're also have a need for volunteers to help with that. And right now, our Franklin campus is currently hiring a part-time children's coordinator. So that is one of the biggest opportunities available right now.
Wonderful. Thank you both. I know there have got to be some people on this call who would love to volunteer. That's it for all of my questions, but I'd love to open up the Q&A to our attendees. If you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section, in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And we will get those answered. So I'll give us a few minutes to let those questions come in. Okay, we have our first question. What is the most challenging part of each of your jobs? Savik, you want to start?
Yes, it's all challenging. That's the easiest part. That would have been a better question. So I think the most challenging part is, as much as we want every single family to succeed, sometimes they don't. And sometimes they're just not ready to make this change in their lives. And we have to be okay with that as an agency. And I think that's the hardest thing, because we're here to try to walk alongside someone, but you can never push someone where they don't want to be, because it just doesn't work like that. And so anytime you're talking about behavioral health and mental health, I think that's always the challenge, is that some people are really ready and some people it's just not their time yet. And that's okay too. And so come back to us when it is your time. And that's really how we work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely echo what Savak just said. It's hard wanting someone to complete their degree or get their high set equivalency and them not want it. We have lots of students that they'll come and they'll sign up and they'll be really excited, and then a few weeks in you never hear from them again, or they are so close and they just need maybe to pass one more test and they're like, listen, I need a break, I can't do this anymore. Like they might be a single mom with 3 kids and working 2 jobs, and it's hard to balance all of that, especially if you don't have a good support system. So I think that's one of the most challenging parts, is just loving them where they're at and saying, hey, the door is open whenever you are able to come back and finish this. and we'll be here waiting for you until you are. But losing the students that has it in them, and they just aren't in a good spot to finish at the moment is probably one of the most challenging parts for sure.
Okay, our next question is kind of the flip of that question. What's the most rewarding part of the job? Rebecca, do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I think as I probably shared before, that graduation day when those adult students can say, I did this, and they put on a cap and gown probably for the first time and walked across the stage. There's definitely a lot of happy tears on those days. And I just had a graduate in December that she was the first graduate of her family. And she has 2 kids that are in high school right now. And she's like, I'm really glad that I got to do this before my kids. I'm setting the example now. And so they get to see that this is important and it's important to me. And I showed up when I was, a mom and working 2 jobs, and I can do it and so can they. And so it's really changing generations when one person decides to make that step and set the precedent for the rest of their family. It's super exciting to get to witness that.
I think the best part for me is getting to see the growth that happens in our families. Oftentimes they'll come to us and they're really unattached to one another, like mom and child, or kiddos being out of their custody for a little bit. And just to see them like bond and start to grow and see these like really shy children just like blossom into this like running around, smiling, like loving everyone child, and running up to their mom off the school bus or after daycare and be like, mommy, that's what this is about, right? That we're about helping families stay together and allowing that mom the ability to show up for her child in a way that's meaningful, and in a way that she may not have had anyone show up for her. So it's just this amazing thing to see that happen and that come together. And it's kind of undescribably like beautiful. And you have to really witness it to like fully understand, I think, what I'm thinking of, because it's not a change that happens overnight or even in just a week. Our families are here with us 6-12 months, and it's this gradual change. But then one day you look in the hallway and you're like, did I just see that happen? Like, that's amazing. And that happens here every day. And yeah, that's easily the best part of my job.
Wow. I mean, sounds wonderful. I'm sure it's just like one day you look and it's just a different kid and they've got, a brightness about them that they didn't have before. So our last question, I believe, is just for Renewal House. Do you take clients with mental health issues or just substance abuse? I know they can go hand in hand.
Yes, so the majority of our clients do have a mental health diagnosis. Now, they have to have a substance use diagnosis because we are a substance use treatment provider, but most of our clients do have some type of co-occurring illness. So yes.
Thank you so much. Well, that's it for our questions. I know many of you on this call may have more questions, or you may think of a question after. But don't worry, all of you will receive an email with all of our contact info. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, if you'd like to volunteer or get more involved. Thank you, ladies, so much for taking the time to share with us about your agencies and your programs and the impact you're making. I'm so grateful the women in our community have both Renewal House and Begin Anew to rely on. And United Way is so grateful that each of you are partner agencies of ours. Thank you to our attendees today. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for donating, volunteering. We really couldn't do our work without you. While I have you guys here, I do want to plug a couple United Way events we have coming up. So we have our bedtime books Day of Action coming up. It's an opportunity to collect everything a child age 0 to 5 needs for a healthy bedtime routine that includes reading. So we're asking volunteers to pack kits with 2 books, a plush toy, toothbrush, and toothpaste, and drop it off at First Horizon Park, where the sounds play on April 5th. You can learn more and register at the link that I am about to put in the chat. Okay. And then, in honor of Women's History Month, our Women's Affinity Group, the Patricia Hart Society, is having a fundraiser on April 26th that will support United Way's literacy initiatives like Imagination Library and Raise Your Hand. So the event's called Books, Bubbles, and Bourbon. It's a cocktail event with a silent auction. Should be a ton of fun. It's in downtown Franklin at the History and Culture Center. And you can buy tickets to that event at the link I will put in the chat right now. So that's all I've got. Thank you again, ladies, for telling us about Begin Anew and Renewal House. Thanks to our attendees, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye. Oh gosh, I just saw, Jamie, the link didn't come through. Well, I'll include the links in the email that goes out after. Thank you, guys.